Can you be a fractional CMO without ever having held this CMO title? That's what we're going to talk about today. The short answer is yes. I never had a CMO title before I started as a fractional CMO, and I have made over $3 million in my business. It has never stopped a single client from hiring me, paying me well, and being really happy with the results I've been able to drive inside their business. So if you're sitting there with 8, 10, 15, 20 years experience, wondering if you can step into this role, the answer is yes. And if you've been counting yourself out of the work because you haven't held the title, well, we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to walk you through the 3 things you actually need to be a CMO. The role of a fractional CMO is not about titles you've held in the past. It's actually about how you think and lead and show up for your clients. So let's be really, really clear about what the role is, because I often think it gets misunderstood. So a fractional CMO is not somebody who knows every single marketing channel inside and out. We're not the paid marketing expert or SEO specialist or even the social media expert. That's not the job. The job is to lead a team of experts. So to know enough to identify the right people, ask the right questions, steer the strategy, make sure the business is being moved forward by marketing. But most CMOs will have gaps. I have many. So we don't need to know everything, and we also don't need to pretend that we know everything. I'm going to walk you through the 3 most important things. Number 1 is you ask great questions. Really good fractional CMOs are sharp thinkers, and they ask the right questions. They poke holes. They're comfortable saying, why are we doing it this way? Or do we know how this is working? Or what is the goal here? What is the bigger picture? They're not afraid to be the person who slows the room down and asks the bigger questions. And having that skill, that's nothing to do with having a CMO title before, whether you had it or not. It's actually a skill that you probably have already built. So if you find you are asking the right questions or the strategic questions, you're already operating like a CMO on some levels. Number 2, you think like a business owner. This is probably the biggest distinction, I would say, between a lot of marketers and fractional CMOs. You stop being an order taker and saying, oh yes, okay, we'll do that. Or you stop sort of feeling detached from the outcomes of marketing, and you start looking at marketing and prioritizing things that are going to move the needle over things that are pretty or look good, or just because the founder asked you to. So someone might walk into a client's business and see 100 things they could fix. The website could be better, the branding could be sharper, email flows are messy, and it's sometimes tempting to go towards the things that you have the most experience in. Maybe you've done a lot of rebrand projects. But a fractional CMO asks themselves, what is going to move the needle here in the next 90 days, or, the fastest? How do we get to our goal the fastest? What can we do to drive results here? And really thinking about the marketing spend, the marketing team's time, all of those pieces as if this was your budget, your team, and your business. Lastly, number 3 is you show up as a peer, not an executor or not an order taker. So this one is huge. Your clients, if you're a fractional CMO, they are not hiring you so they can tell you what to do. Your clients are hiring you to lead. So what that means is you're advising, you're teaching, you're making strategic recommendations, and you're comfortable pushing back when needed. You're not looking to them to tell you what to do. And when and if they ever are asking you, telling you to do something, you're comfortable pushing back if you think that's not the right thing to do strategically, and keeping them contained or keeping them on the right track when it comes to strategy. So for example, if your client said something like, I want to launch a podcast next quarter, and your gut said that is not going to be the best thing for the business, that's going to take too much time, too much money, it's not actually even going to get results. You say that and you explain why, and you bring them a better recommendation, or you get to the root of what are they really trying to do here. Think of it like you would talk to a friend. If your friend was about to make a business decision or a marketing decision that you didn't think was right for them, you wouldn't hesitate to push back. You'd give them your honest take and explain why. And that's what your clients need from you. Not an executor, a peer who's sitting beside them and has their back, because you have more marketing experience than they do. And we need to be willing to sometimes say the hard thing to steer them towards making a better decision. So look at your real experiences and your real background and how you show up for your clients. How many of those 3 3 things have you been doing for years and maybe disqualifying yourself because you don't think you're ready to be a CMO, or maybe you haven't held the CMO title. So what I want you to take today from this is that no one is going to tap you on the shoulder and tell you you're ready. No client, no mentor. You decide, you promote yourself into a CMO role. That's exactly what I did. I decided I was ready and I stepped into it, even though it was uncomfortable. This means putting yourself out there, calling yourself a fractional CMO before you feel ready, telling people what you do confidently, applying for jobs, even if you don't tick all the boxes. So for example, if you see something that says CMO or VP of marketing experience required, that's a wish list. Most companies hire on a whole bunch of other things, and they're often putting out their ideal state. But really, they're looking for fit. They're looking for how you think and whether you can articulate the value you're going to bring. If you take your own hat out of the ring because a posting says something that you don't perfectly match, then you've made the decision and you don't even get to be considered because you're not even giving yourself that chance. So yes, it's very uncomfortable. But the discomfort is not a sign you're disqualified most of the time. It's a sign that you're stretching into, the next version, the next chapter. So coming back to the original question, can I be a fractional CMO if I've never been a CMO before? Yes, and I'm proof of it. So if you're doing the 3 things I broke down today, asking great questions, thinking like a business owner, and showing up as a peer, you are probably already operating at the CMO level. The only thing left is to step into it confidently and just go for it. If you want help doing that, pricing yourself, pitching the role, figuring out exactly what you do when you start as a CMO with your new clients, that is exactly what I teach inside Fractional CMO School. The strategy, templates, tools, everything I have used to build my own business as a fractional CMO and helped many other marketers do the same. The link is below if you want more information or you'd love to sign up. And if this video was useful, hit subscribe and I will see you next week.